it's Scott with the Sustainable Homestead Institute as part of our survival skills workshop. We've been building this really awesome Wikiup. We've got 14 poles right now, and it's about 16 feet in diameter, so this thing's going to be huge. And we've spent about 3 hours getting it to the point of where you see it now. And that includes cutting and then starting to lash the frame, and we've got a lot of poles just laying off the side so that we can put those to work today. These are poplar poles, and we got them from a stand nearby. A lot of times they'll say animals or instruments played by the landscape, so you have to get the materials that are close by to you. Otherwise you're going to spend just too much energy dragging them to your area. So that goes in to looking and seeing what makes a good base camp and doing your site survey before you set up an area. But come along and we'll show you how this Wikiup progresses. Thanks for watching. So these are the poplar poles that we cut and we brought to camp and dragged them. Luckily these things are pretty light and they'll become lighter as they dry out. But so this is what we're going to use to lash our frame together. So we've got a bunch of these. Hopefully this is enough. We might need to go get some more. But I wanted to show you these before we show you how to wrap and frap them to the upright teepee structure. So we're using paracord for this project, and we've shown you how to make cordage in plenty of other videos, but just for the longevity of this project and knowing that kids are going to be climbing and hanging out in here, we want to make this extra durable. So we're using paracord, and something that'll make your life easier if you're building these is just rigging up a string over your paracord so when you pull it, it's easy dispensing. This roll has plastic grommets on the outside, but I've seen metal ones too. Those will shave through your rope pretty quickly, so you could tie them with a stick. But the big takeaway from this is that you don't want to stick your fingers in there, because I've had some pretty nasty cuts as people have pulled on this and bit into my fingers. So something to be mindful of as you're working with paracord. Cool, so now we're lashing these poles to the upright poles to give us more of a frame. And the technique, the best way to do that is called wrapping and frapping. And so we've got about 2 arm lengths of cord. That's what we need for this, but if you're using bigger poles, you're gonna have to size that accordingly. It starts with an overhand loop. So I just take my string, fold it in half, and then wrapping it around and coming back through the hole will make a loop. And this we'll use to bite into this rope here and give us some tension. Notice that I left a tail because when I'm all done, that's what I'm going to come back and tie off to. So the first step is we put our pole up there and just come around the back, and that loop that we made, the rope comes through. And now that gives us an ability to pull down, and we don't have to hold this with our leg the whole time. Now I come underneath, wrapping around and over top of here, and then coming back around the main pole. Then doing the same on the other side, coming over the top, back around and under, and then coming back to the other side, and then wrapping around this side again. So I do that 2 or 3 times. And now I'm left with a little bit. So that's all right, but that's not nearly as sturdy as we want. So we take our rope and cross over, and this is how we pull any extra tension out of the wrap. This is called the frap. So we do that twice, and each time you can see the bite here, how that's pulling tension on those ropes that we did beforehand. One more time. And then come back. And that, remember that tail that we left in the beginning, we just tie an overhand knot. Kind of like you're tying your shoe, but you leave the bows out. And it goes through again, pull it tight, and now we have our cross member tied on there. We'll keep using this technique as we work our way clockwise around the circle, and that goes back to some native teachings and showing that everything in the world is cyclical and evolves in circles. So we'll keep doing that, and we'll check back with you once we've got some more frames lashed up. So we've got our first layer of cross supports lashed, and I've made these before, really on like Mandan or round, sweat lodge style shelters where we've just bent it, but the angle of these poles was, dictating that we tie each one of these. So we just tie those around, and this will give us some extra stability for, you know, kids that want to climb on it and stuff. But so we've got our first layer all the way around the bottom, alternating one above, then one below, then one above, then one below, then one above. And we'll keep doing that pattern as high as we can get, and then we'll build a ladder and keep it moving. So we finished our first round of support poles, and we ran out of rope on that first coil, so I've made this paracord dispenser to make it easier. And all it is just a stick with a string, and when you pull on the cord, it spins, dispensing your paracord, similar to your toilet paper. But it makes it a whole lot easier to do all this. I hate getting paracord rolls tangled. Nothing is more frustrating than that. Josh is busy about to finish up the last wrap and frap on the second layer of cross bracing. And this is really making the Wikiup a whole lot more sturdy. It's amazing. So we've made this stick to keep our, this is about 18 inches. And that's just a stick to keep it uniform, and that fits right in the gap between the sticks. So it's just as like a measuring stick to make sure we're kind of keeping it uniform all the way around. Second layer's done. 5 to 8 more to go. We got 4 rungs done, and there's the door, and the walls are starting to take shape. I'm really pleased. It's gonna be a baller. Not that much further to go. Another round bites the dust. On 5 now. Conservative estimate of like 3 more maybe. But we're fast approaching the top. Very pleased. And here's Josh's hands all torn up from wrapping and frapping. Blisters. And here is Josh lashing up the pole. This goes to show you how sturdy these things are. You build them right, you don't need a ladder. It's coming together. We're gonna thatch this with grass, but in a moment of genius, we contacted our friends at Black Feather Furniture, and they had these offcuts from their sawmill. And man, is it resulted in a beautiful structure. Still lots of gaps to go. We got a lot of work ahead of us tomorrow, but I wanted to show you how it looks in the meantime. Pretty cool stuff. So a lot of work later, and still a lot of work to go, but Josh's time with us is coming to an end, so we've reached a good stopping point. I've got a lot of work that I can handle by myself, you know, make the inside a little more comfortable, and then start adding debris to really waterproof everything. But in gratitude for the stopping point, we are going to light a fire in here and see how it holds up. So join us inside, and here we go. Thanks for watching. If you want to come out and live in this thing or learn these earth skills for yourself, check us out at sustainablehomestead.com. Thanks again.